Agent Romanov. You miss me?
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
Captain. Your Highness.
Captain, big fan, Spider-Man. Hey everyone.
Hey everybody, just a quick reminder that our name is changing from Filmartsy to Filmonger. What does this mean for you guys, the audience? Actually, not too much at all. We're going to be still bringing you the same great content. So it's all the old, same great community and benefits, but just a new initiative. So we'll be known as Filmonger starting real soon. So just wanted to let you guys know. Hey everybody, welcome back to Filmonger. I'm your guy 𝘠𝘩𝘏, and we are going to be talking about the 10 things you may not know about the hit series Squid Games. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I hadn't seen Squid Games until I was asked to make a video on this, and I got so hooked on it that I binge watched the whole thing before making this video. It's an egregious hour in the morning, but I did it because it was worth watching. If you haven't watched Squid Games, first off, you don't want to watch this video, which feels weird, so I shouldn't encourage you to leave our videos, but it's so good, it's so worth it, and you don't want it to be spoiled, and I am going to be talking about some spoilers here, so you want to hop off this video right now, go watch Squid Games, binge watch it like I did, then come back and watch all the things you might not have caught the first time through, which I definitely didn't, and I'm glad I'm able to put together some list of things that are really, really interesting about this show. So starting with number 1. Which is really interesting about Squid Game is that it was actually meant to be a movie at first. This kind of blew my mind because to think about all those jam-packed into the series of 9 episodes, to try to cram that into a 2.5-hour movie, which a movie like this probably gonna get that kind of runtime, seems like an asinine request. If you watch this, you realize all the depths that's interwoven into every single episode. I think this would have really lost its impact trying to sync it up and cinch it up into a shorter movie. It blew my mind. The second interesting fact is that actually it wasn't going to be called Squid Games at all. It was going to be called Round 6, which there's something about Squid Game that just, it's a unique name that automatically makes you tilt your head and go like, oh, what's that about? And so I'm glad they went to Squid Game. I've never heard about Squid Game or how to play it until this movie. I don't think I'll ever play it just because it might disturb me from forever continuing on. But there's my second little fun thing about this film. Another really interesting thing is actually a big spoiler here, is the revelation that the old man was behind it all. And he gives like this emotional spiel at the end about living life and having fun with his friends, which I kind of was like, dude, this is a really crazy jackpot way to do whatever you're wanting to do. But there's a lot of indications that he was actually behind everything. As you remember, he had a lot of confidence going throughout the games. I chalked this up as my first watch through as just him being old, having a tumor, not really giving a flying flip whether he dies or not. But you come to learn that he has this confidence because he indeed was never in any danger. In fact, actually when he loses the marbles game or gives it up, you know, whatever the debate is on there, you never see him get shot on screen, you just see the reaction. And then on top of that, when the cop is going through the files, you don't see player 1 in there, another indication that he indeed was not actually a player, but in fact was behind this more elusive organization of these games. That brings us to our next and fourth interesting point, is actually there seems to be some kind of like identifiable rankings within this ridiculously weird mass society. I don't know how you get hired to do this and look like, you know, you wear the PlayStation controller buttons on your face, and apparently there was some, you know, disordinance amongst the members because obviously, as we saw, they were trying to sell body organs, and that did not pan out well for them in the end. But there's actually seemingly a ranking to this, and that starts with the triangles being at the bottom tier. Although they do have the guns, they seem to be the bottom of the totem pole. The reason we know this is that when the detective gets a hold of his first costume, he gets in a lot of trouble for speaking out of line, and then it does seem like the squares are middle tier, and then rounding up with the circle pink person thing as the top tier. Although I know they don't think they're all hooded. I don't know. It's very, I mean, I'm learning on the fly here. And then obviously you have the front manager as the guy who takes care of it all. I'm sure you've seen this floating around the internet, but this is the 5th one for sure, and it's really interesting. It's that actually the walls detail the games and events of what is going to go down later on in the film. Obviously, when you first get into that big room where everyone's in there, like all 456 players, you don't realize that there's wall art. And not only is it just wall art, it's wall art detailing what they're going to be facing in their trials. Now, there's no way to have known that. No player probably would have figured that out. But it's actually cool to see that all along we saw the tug of war. We saw the symbols where they'd be cracking the honeycomb and whatnot. So it's actually really cool to see that foreshadowing. And once again, this has so many layers packed into it that little things like that is just really satisfying. Before we continue this video, I just want to let you guys know that we have an awesome Instagram that updates on a regular basis with all things Marvel, DC, and everything that you love about the movies. So if you haven't already, go follow the Instagram right now. You won't regret it. Now let's get back to the video. Another fun fact is that the first game's doll, like that big robot doll with red light, green light, is actually something you can go visit, which I don't know if I'll ever do after watching this. But this eerie oversized doll from the first episode is actually real. It can be found in 𝘧𝘢𝘥𝘢 country in a rural area. Just what's even crazier is they actually apparently borrowed this doll and brought it back after filming. So you can go see the doll that targets the people and they get knocked off. That was great. This thing kicks out. It's a great show. You really need to go watch it. Another little fun tidbit, if you haven't caught this as well, is actually the phone number in the first episode is real as well. And it's not like one of those fun things where you call the phone number and it has, you know, something to do with the movie or the series, right? It's actually someone's phone number, and they should get some money now because they've been inundated with like 4,000, what is it, 4,000 or 40,000? It's a ton of calls. They've been inundated with a ton of calls as a result of being the unfortunate soul that has this number. I would set something up. I would figure something out on how to monetize that, because can you imagine? I want to play the game. Why do you guys keep calling me? Another thing I liked about Squid Game is there's just a lot of foreshadowing of people's deaths. You find with Ali, with the pickpocket girl, with even the big bad guy and the kind of slutty cuckoo lady. All of them had their deaths foreshadowed in some way. Ali actually stealing that money at one point only for his marbles to get steal and end up costing him his life. And then you do have the girl who holds that one guy up with the throat and says, "I'll cut your throat" at one point. She gets her throat cut at the very end, which that was, oh, that one got me. And then you do have like the big bad dude and this slutty lady who have kind of this dynamic, and she ends up taking him out in the end and foreshadows the way how she feels powerful leaning backwards, so that they have in the rope tugging game. I just like that there's intricacy in everything they did. Nothing felt random, nothing felt like just kind of whatever. Honestly, if I had to aim at a moment, it's just that detectives' efforts were there was kind of like a red herring of nothing. It's like more it helped us as the audience pull back the curtain of what was going on, the filth and the corporateness behind all those things, just icky stuff. Wow. Yeah, and it didn't pan out for him in the end either. He gets shot, and it's his brother, which that's, you know, I'm not here to make the review of Squid Games, but there you go. And what's really cool, and my last really interesting fact about Squid Game, like I said, I'm not going to go all to the Easter eggs because that's not, there's a lot of videos out there that do just that. There's just some interesting things that were noticeable in this movie or about Squid Games in general. What's really cool is that Squid Game is really opening the door for other things like this in Korean films or foreign films in general. Realizing the caliber of this particular series and people realize how good that is, it makes you think, oh, I want to watch more of that, which is really awesome, because there is some really incredible stuff that's international that just us in the United States, if you're watching here, we just don't tend to access. But there is some great stuff out there, Bollywood, you know, all those things. So definitely be checking it out on Netflix. And that, so much so, this show is done so well that it's on pace to be one of Netflix's most successful shows ever. So that's super cool. And like I said, I came in like, oh, I gotta make a video about it, and then I couldn't stop watching it. Had to binge watch it. It's like 1:20 in the morning, but it was worth every second to watch it and enjoy it. I hope you will as well. So have you watched Squid Game? Let me know in the comments below. Is there something that you know that's interesting or Easter egg that you feel like people aren't talking about? Let me know in the comments below and we can talk more about that. And as always, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and turn on notifications, because we are trying to give you guys this content daily. And as always, until next time, I will see you later.